Good afternoon, everyone. And I just want to say a special thank you to McCracken County Library for inviting me to speak to you all today about all things voting and election. We do have an election coming up November 3rd, and it is quickly approaching. But no, I want to thank the library for doing this. This election is so different this time that it's been so important to try to get the information out to the voters as far as the different voting options, locations, dates and times, and that sort of thing. So I really do appreciate them offering me this chance to explain it to you all. First, I'm going to give you just a little bit of background about myself. I feel like I've grown up in the county clerk's office. I've worked there 30 years. It will actually be 31 years in the 1st of January. So when I started in the clerk's office, and I don't know if any of you watching knew Martha Nell Bradford, but she was the clerk that hired me. And I started in the real estate records, land records, where any kind of, land records are recorded over in the vault. That's where I started. And in some capacity, I have worked in every department in the clerk's office, some more than others. But I ran for this office in 2014. At that time, I'd had 25 years of experience ran in the primary and the general election. I had opposition both times, ran and won those elections, and started my first term as clerk in 2015. And then I ran unopposed in 2018. So now I am serving on that second term as clerk. And this term will run until 2022. So yes, I'm now serving in my second term. They are 4-year terms, and like I said, this term will be over in 2022. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me and my background. I want to start off first just talking about the importance of voting. I think sometimes we don't really take advantage of it like that we should. But no, I just want to talk to you about the importance of voting. Several things that I've kind of got together myself that I think are reasons that it's important to vote. Number one, it's your right and it's your civic duty. Men and women have fought and died defending this right, and it's something that should not be taken for granted. This year's election goes way beyond who's going to be elected president, vice president, and from there all down. It's also about choosing the right policies and people who have your best interest at heart. Voting is your voice. When you vote, you're taking an active role in deciding issues regarding health care, jobs, education, taxes, and on and on and on. So, that's why you need to get involved and take an active role in voting on election day. Number two reason that I think it's important to vote is if you don't vote, someone else will. And those other people are going to make the decisions for you that are going to end up affecting you. Elections are decided by the people that get out and vote. And voting gives you the power to choose how your city, how your county, and how your state are all going to run. So take the time to learn about the candidates, what they stand for, make informed decisions when casting your vote. I always tell people, research your candidates, see who you relate to and their platform, and if it's something that you want to get behind and support. So, that's another reason you need to get out there and cast your vote, because if you're not voting, somebody else is, and they're making the decisions that are going to affect you. The third reason I think it's important to vote, one vote can absolutely make a difference. I know a lot of people may think, hey, I'm just one person, I'm running late for work, I don't have time to stop and vote. What difference is it going to make? It absolutely can make a difference. We had a race not too long ago here in McCracken County that was decided by one vote. You know, that's why you've got to look at it like, you know, my vote does matter. It doesn't matter if it's on the local level, state level, federal level. Your vote can absolutely make a difference. So make sure that you take the time. Don't, you know, you probably can think of a million reasons that you could talk yourself out of doing it, but just make sure you take that time to vote. Fourth reason that I've come up with that I think it's important to vote is it's your tax dollars. So help decide how, you know, the money that you put into the tax dollars, how it's going to be spent. Elected officials such as city or county commissioners, the governor, legislators, you know, and so forth, they decide who pays for public services with our tax dollars. So take an active role and find out what candidates share your views and find out if they're going to spend your tax dollars wisely because that's what, you know, that's what we want done with our money. And the fifth reason that I think voting is important, elections have consequences. You have the power to decide the quality of life that you want for yourself and for future generations. Voting is your chance to stand up for issues that affect you on a daily basis. And this could be things such as education, healthcare, Social Security, highways, and public transportation. So, you know, this is your life, and take the time to help decide what makes this life better for you and your family. Like I said, once again, see how those tax dollars are being spent to improve these things, improve your highways and public transportation and that sort of thing. And the last reason that I think voting is important is to help make a difference in your community. Our communities are made up of our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones, children. And the decisions we make today are going to impact our children and our grandchildren and all generations to follow. So get in there, make your informed decisions for these future generations that are going to improve your life and that's going to improve their lives in the future. So these are just a few things of the reasons that I think voting is important. You know, we all can come up with our reasons, but, you know, I think so many times people just take that for granted. And, you know, like I said, this is something that's a right that's been fought and died for. Not everybody has this right to vote. So you should definitely take advantage of this each and every election. I know my parents, I had someone ask me when WPSD was interviewing me, why do I vote? And, you know, that's a good question. I vote. My parents, at a very young age, started instilling in me the importance of voting. They voted every election. And when I was 18 years old, they made sure I signed up to vote. And I have voted every election. And, of course, working in the clerk's office, you know, I started working here when I was about, I don't know, 25, something like that. And, you know, you're in the thick of it here when you work in the clerk's office because you're doing elections every year. So it's just something that's always been instilled in me, and I know it's the right thing to do. So just, you know, make sure that you get out there and vote. Next thing I want to talk about just a little bit is the security of our elections. Most people think Election Day is just a one-day event. However, there are months and months that go into administrative work trying to make an election successful and secure. For example, we started working on the primary. Of course, it was moved back a month. It's normally held the last Tuesday in May, and it was held in June this year because of COVID. But we started working on the primary election that was held in June. We started working on that end of February, first part of March. So it's not something that, you know, we put together in a couple of weeks. And that far ahead, we are already starting to get requests for absentee ballots for the election that's coming up. We're starting to process those. We're processing voter registration cards, online voter registration renewals, all of that stuff. You know, like I said, it starts months in advance. And so, you know, it definitely is more than a one-day event. But as far as the security of the elections, though, you know, that's just it, because we do start working so soon in advance. You know, we have time to prepare. The websites that voters can go to and access information, the websites that the county clerks can go to and access information. These are all secure sites that have been set up by the State Board of Elections, Secretary of State's office, and in absolutely no way will it ever compromise any voter information. These are all safe, secure sites. Also, election data that clerks upload to the State Board of Elections, and that happens election night. This is not connected to the internet in any way. So this, you know, the totals are secure. Everything about elections and, you know, that sort of thing, it's just, they are secure sites and systems. And that is one thing that I, you know, don't want voters to worry about, is any kind of their voter information getting compromised. There's also extensive training that goes into running an election at the precinct level. Normally we have 54 precincts, and we have training. So with 54 precincts, normally we have about 250 precinct workers. And you have to attend a training if you're going to be a precinct worker. So, you know, they go through extensive training. They know the guidelines, the regulations they're supposed to go through. So this is another way that we're making safe, secure elections. Also, a precinct, like when you go to vote in a precinct on election day, these are staffed in parity, which means you have to have an equal number of Democrats and an equal number of Republicans working each precinct. That means parity. You have to do that. So therefore, you know, that's another way that it's secure, that, you know, you don't have one side with more of an advantage than the other. So we do staff all precincts in parity. Anything we do here in the clerk's office as far as tabulating any totals, it's always done in parity. But that kind of goes over the, you know, the security of the elections. We keep all our machines locked up in vaults. Like, we're voting in person now. They're on rollers. We wheel those in to the vault each night. They're locked down. Ballots are locked down. You know, we don't have any of this stuff just sitting out open. It's all locked down in a vault. So absolutely everything within our power is done to make voting secure. Now I would like to go over, I guess, some information that's relevant to this election in particular. We definitely have more voting options this election, and that is because of COVID. That is one good thing that came out of COVID, is that there were more voting options available. Of course, in the primary, we were only able to vote by mail-in absentee ballot up until election day. So that we did have a couple of weeks, I think, of early voting, not as much as we do now, but the mail-in absentee ballot is what was encouraged. We had a little over 15,000 of those that we mailed out and got returned back. Quite overwhelming. Considering during a normal election, we might only have 1,000, maybe 2,000 at the most. But this time they are encouraging more in-person voting. So that has been, you know, the reason that we did not have as many, although 9,352, it sounds like a lot to me and probably to you as well, and has been a lot of work, but it was not as much work as what the 15,000 was. So we are thankful for that. But like I said, at least COVID did provide us with some options for this election. And I want to go over those with you. The first option is the mail-in absentee ballot. And although that deadline passed last Friday, October 9th, you can't request a mail-in ballot anymore. We still have people out there that are going to be receiving them in the mail. I actually just took over our last group of ballots to be mailed out. Took them to the post office. So the last bunch just went out today. And but some of you all that's, have got your ballot and maybe have never voted an absentee ballot before, since this is an option this time. I'd like to show you all how to vote an absentee ballot packet. I don't know, am I going to be able, I guess I can get all of that on this screen here. Is that to where you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what I want to do for those of you who did request a mail-in ballot, you're going to get a packet in the mail. And I'm going to show you exactly what it's going to look like. Okay. So this is the way it's going to come looking to you. It's going to be in this outside envelope. Of course, it's going to have a label here of where it's addressed to. And that label is going to have some barcoding on it. We scan every ballot that goes out, like every ballot that's been requested and then we mail out. We would have scanned that barcoding right there so that we know, and it's specific to the voter. So we're going to know what day that ballot was scanned and mailed out. So, okay, you're going to get it in the mail now. You're going to open it up, and this is what's on the inside. You have got a return envelope. You have got the manila envelope that says absentee ballot on it, because this is the envelope that your ballot that you vote is going to go in. Open that up. You have your ballot, this is a sample ballot, and you have your instruction sheet. So read your instruction sheet. It's very thorough, gives you step-by-step instructions on how to properly process your mail-in ballot. So what you're going to do after you've marked your ballot, we're ready to vote, or ready to put it up in the envelope, what we're going to do, we're going to fold it like this, and this should be the way that it came. You are going to put it inside this envelope here, this manila envelope. So we're going to put your ballot inside here. And you're going to see there's going to be a strip on here that's like tacky, like glued. You're going to lick that and make sure that that seals that ballot inside this envelope. Okay, so we've got ours licked. We're going to seal it up. Now, as you can see, it's got this flap that's going to remain like this. Don't tear the flap off. That needs to stay on there. What you're going to do on the outside, this one would have come to with the same mailing label up there, so that we know we've got the right person's ballot and the right person's envelope. You can see right here, I hope you can see, it's been highlighted by this X. The voter needs to sign where that's been highlighted. If you can only sign with an X, if you can't sign your name for some reason, you will have to have two witnesses. Their signatures go right below that. But anyway, okay, so we've got our ballot sealed in, we've got it signed. Now we're going to put it in the envelope that it's going to be mailed back to the clerk's office in. So we're going to put that inside this envelope. We're going to seal it. Now, you're going to see This has got a highlighted line right here. That also must be signed by the voter. And once again, if you can only make an X, you're going to have two witnesses down below there that they're going to sign. And this is a postage paid envelope. It's not going to cost you anything, so that if you want to mail it through the Postal Service, you're able to do that. Or we have a drop box down here in the county, at the county courthouse. We have it sitting outside the front entrance of the courthouse. We're only able to leave it out there Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And then Saturdays, it will be out there from 9 to 1. And those are the hours that we're working. And that's the reason we can only leave it out there during the time that we've got security up there watching it. So, but like I said, if you don't feel comfortable with mailing your ballot through the Postal Service, if you're afraid it's not going to get here on time, bring it down here. We've had so many people take advantage of dropping off their ballot in the drop box this time, more so than what we did in the primary. So anyway, that's how you seal up your ballot and get it ready to mail to us or to either drop off. So, and then once again, whenever we get your ballot back, what we're going to do, it's going to have another label right here that has that barcode on it. We're going to scan that. That's going to let us know that we have got your ballot returned. So we scan it when it goes out, we scan it when it comes back in. So we know when it's been sent, when it's been returned. It's just, you know, a way of us keeping up for it. If a voter calls and wants to know, hey, have y'all received my ballot? Or hey, has it been sent out yet? This is how we keep up with it, by the barcode. But anyway, that's how we do our ballots. And let's see, the next option we have to vote is early in-person voting. That has started. It started yesterday. And it is here in the county clerk's office, and it's going to continue to run through November 2nd, the day before the election. That will be considered early voting. The dates and times for early voting will be Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and Saturdays 9 to 1. And that's for anybody in McCracken County. If you're a registered voter and you want to come down here and vote, you can come do so during these 3 weeks that we are going to be open for early voting. And I want to stress to people, early voting is just like voting in your precinct on election day. It goes exactly the same. We've got the same equipment, you know, your scanner, your e-poll book, the same ballots. Everything is the same. It's just you're able to vote early and you don't have to wait to go vote on election day. This was done, you know, in an effort to kind of alleviate some of the long lines on election day. Hopefully that will do so. I'm hoping people will take advantage of this, this early election time. But so far, you know, yesterday, like I said, we started at 8:30. We had a line wrapped around the courthouse. It's going so unbelievably well. You know, people, they've just been great. They're coming down here prepared. They've got their driver's license ready. They seem to be familiar with the ballot, not taking them long to vote. So the first 2 days of early voting have been very successful. And like I said, I would really like to encourage people to do that. Like I said, Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays 9 to 1. And Saturday, when we had Saturday voting in the primary, that was our least busy day. So if you want to pick a day when you think there's not going to be a lot of people down here, I would come on Saturday. That is an option. And then our last option is election day voting. There will be 11 voting locations open on election day. Voters have been assigned to a particular voting location according to what their usual precinct is. These locations are precinct and ballot specific. That means that if you go on election day to vote in your assigned voting location, they're going to have only the ballots that are specific for your precinct, like what state rep district you might be in, what school board district you might be in, whether you live in the city limits, you know, whether you can vote on mayor or city commission. If you go vote on your assigned location on election day, you will vote your specific ballot there. I mean, they're not going to be able to have ballots for everywhere. So if you want to go vote on election day, you can go to your assigned location. There will also be a 12th location open, and that will be here in the county clerk's office. That is called a voting super center, and we were required to have a super center open so that every voter in the county can come to the clerk's office and vote. That's going to kind of be like how early voting is taking place, because anybody can come down here now and vote. So, but anybody on election day, if they don't want to go to their assigned voting location, you know, maybe it's not convenient for them. You know, they may work down here downtown and they may live out in Cavill, but they can't get back in time by the time they get off of work to get to their location. So come down here at the courthouse and vote. We can vote anybody in the county on election day. We have ballots for every voter in the county. So that is another option. You can vote in person on election day, either in your specific voting location, or you can vote down here at the courthouse. If you do choose to vote in person, either early or on election day, you have to have some form of ID with you. That can be either a driver's license, it can be a military ID, it can be a credit or debit card, it could be any kind of a government issue ID. But we do have to have ID in order for you to vote. And you will have to wear a mask as well. We're going by the CDC guidelines. We will be socially distancing people and cleaning and sanitizing the stations regularly. And that's already going on here with our early voting. So, but that's your three choices for voting: the mail-in absentee, early voting here in the clerk's office, or election day voting in person, either in your assigned precinct or in down here at the clerk's office in the courthouse. And election day voting will be the usual hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now I want to go over those voting locations with you. What I'm going to do is read your normal, if you remember what your normal precinct name is, or where you usually vote, then I'm going to tell you where your voting location will be for this election. And I'll try to go through this kind of quickly. It's, you know, hopefully it won't take us too long. I don't want to go over our time here. Okay, if you vote in a regular election, if you vote at Clarks River number 2 precinct, which is normally at Reedland Baptist Church, you're going to vote at Reedland Middle School. If you vote at Reedland number 1 precinct, which is the Kentucky Department of Highways, you're also going to vote at Reedland Middle School. All of these first ones will be at Reedland Middle School. Clarks River number 1 is usually at Reedland Baptist Church. That's Reedland Middle School. Woodlawn is usually Oaklawn Baptist Church. That's Reedland Middle School. Cove Camp usually votes at Southland Baptist Temple, as does Oak Station. They will both vote at Reedland Middle School. And Oakdale Precinct, which normally votes at Oaklawn Baptist Church, they will vote at Reedland Middle School. That's all of the precincts for that location. We only have 2 at the Reedland Elementary Gym, and that is Reedland number 2 precinct. They usually vote at the Reedland Fire Station. And then Rosebauer, they normally vote at Reedland Elementary, and both of those will vote at Reedland Elementary. And all of these are in the gymnasiums at these schools. The Knights of Columbus at St. John, the following are going to vote in their building: Florence Station Precinct, if you usually voted at Fremont Baptist Church, you will vote at the KC Hall at St. John. Harper number 1, which is normally at the Knights of Columbus, you're still going to vote in your regular location. Melbourne Precinct, they usually voted at New Hope Church. They're going to vote at the KC Hall. Harper number 2, they normally vote at the KC Hall, so you're going to stay the same. And then New Hope, they usually vote at New Hope Church. They will vote at the KC Hall. So those 5 precincts will all vote at the Knight of Columbus Hall at St. John. Okay, the next 4 are going to vote at Lone Oak Elementary. Lone Oak number 2 precinct, they normally vote at Lone Oak Middle School. They will vote at Lone Oak Elementary this time. Massac Milan, they normally vote at Mount Zion Baptist Church. They will vote at Lone Oak Elementary. Lone Oak number 3 precinct, they normally vote at Lone Oak Elementary, so they're at the same place. And then Highland precinct, they normally vote at Highland Cumberland Presbyterian Church. They will vote at the Lone Oak Elementary gym. The next locations will vote at Paducah Middle School in the gym. Wallace Park, they normally vote at Paducah Middle School, so they're going to stay the same. Gallman Precinct, they normally vote at Robert Cherry Civic Center. They're going to vote at Paducah Middle. Carson Park, they normally vote at the Salvation Army Building. They will vote at Paducah Middle. Avondale Precinct, they normally vote at Clark Elementary School. They will vote at Paducah Middle. Reed Precinct, they normally vote at Paducah Middle, and they're going to stay there at Paducah Middle. And Gott Precinct, they normally vote at Robert Cherry Civic Center. They will vote at Paducah Middle School. And as I said, these are all in the gyms there. Okay, the next several will vote at Paducah Tillman in the gym. Kennedy Precinct, you normally voted at the Plumber and Steam Fitters Hall. You will vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. Jaton Precinct, usually voted at the Jackson House lobby. You're going to vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. Savage Precinct, you usually voted at the number 5 fire station. You're going to vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. Yancey Precinct, you usually voted at the Paducah Tillman Gym, so you'll be right where you usually are. Bernard, they normally voted at Paducah Power. You're going to vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. And Cardinal Point, normally voted at Robert Cherry Civic Center. They will vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. So all of those 6 there will vote at Paducah Tillman Gym. The next will be at Emma Morgan Elementary School. The first Union Station Precinct, they normally voted at the Paducah Board of Education. They will vote at Emma Morgan Elementary. Butler Farley Precinct, they normally voted at Jackson Purchase ECC. They're going to vote at Emma Morgan. Hendron number 1 Precinct, they normally voted at Destiny Church. They will vote at Emma Morgan. Paxton Park Precinct, they normally voted at Bellevue Baptist Church. They will vote at Emma Morgan. Emma Morgan, they're going to vote at Emma Morgan. They're going to stay right where they're at. And then Hendron number 4, Bellevue Baptist Church, they will vote at Emma Morgan. So those 6 precincts will all vote at Emma Morgan Elementary Gym. And we got the last 4 groups here. The following 5 will vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. This is Hendron number 3 precinct. They normally vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. And also Hendron number 2 precinct. They always vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. So 2 and 3 Hendrons will stay at their normal voting location. Rolling Hills precinct, they normally voted at Rolling Hills Country Club. They're going to vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. Lone Oak number 1 precinct, they normally vote at Lone Oak First Baptist Church. They're going to vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. And Peppers Mill precinct, they normally vote at Highland Cumberland Presbyterian Church. They will vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. So those 5 will vote at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary in the gym. The following will vote at Concord Elementary in the gym. Cherokee Precinct, they usually vote at Lone Oak Lions Community Center. They will vote at Concord Elementary. Concord, they normally vote at Concord Elementary, so they're right where they always are. Country Club Precinct, they usually vote at First Christian Church. They will vote at Concord Elementary. Lang, number 2 precinct, they usually vote at Murray State University. They're going to vote at Concord Elementary. And Strawberry Hill Precinct, they usually vote at the McCracken County Extension Office. They're going to vote at Concord Elementary. So those 5 will all be there. The next will vote at McCracken County High School gym. There's only 3, but these are our 3 largest precincts, so that's why we only put 3 there. Lang, number 1, you usually voted at the Murray State University. You will be at the McCracken County High School gym. Maxon and Lamont precincts, they both usually vote at the National Guard Armory. They both will be voting at McCracken County High School in the gym. So that's Lane 1, Maxon, and Lamont will all vote in the McCracken County gym, high school. And the last, Heath Middle School. The following will vote at Heath Middle School. Williams Precinct, you normally voted at Robert Cherry Civic Center. You're now going to be at Heath Middle. Cecil Precinct, you normally voted at the McCracken County Road Department. You're going to be at Heath Middle School. Granville Precinct, you normally voted at West McCracken Fire Department. You're going to be at Heath Middle School. Woodland Precinct, Woodville Precinct, you normally voted at Bethel Christian Church. You will be at Heath Middle. And then Ragland Precinct, normally voted at New Liberty Methodist Church. You will now vote at Heath Middle School in the gym. So that is all the voting locations that I wanted to go over. Yeah, we got voting options, locations. Okay, I just want to go over the ballot. How much time did y'all say I have?
You have 20 minutes, Julie.
How long?
15?
15?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to go over the ballot real quickly with you if I can, just to kind of let you know what things you're going to be voting on the ballot. Of course, the first thing we have is you can vote, if you choose, there's a box up here, you can vote straight party. If you choose a straight party vote, that picks up all races that are party affiliated. But if it is a nonpartisan race, such as we do have some of those, the Court of Appeals judge, that is a nonpartisan race. The Soil and Water Conservation Supervisor is a nonpartisan race, as are the school board races, the mayor's race, and the city commission race. All of those are nonpartisan. So if you choose to do a straight party ticket vote and you want to vote for those nonpartisan races, you have to mark the boxes beside the candidate you want to vote for. A straight party vote will not pick that up. So, like I said, president, vice president, U.S. Senate, U.S. representative, we've got state representative, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th districts. Those are all races that would pick up a straight party vote. But your Court of Appeals judge, soil conservation, school board, mayor, city commission, those are races that would have to be voted on individually. And as far as some of these, you're going to notice that there are places for write-ins. Your ballot may say, I know on the soil conservation, it says that there are, let me find that ballot. I think I locked it up inside my absentee demonstration here. It's going to tell you that you can vote up to 4. There will only be 2 names printed on the ballot, but we have until October 23rd to actually write-in candidates can file up until the 23rd. So we're not really going to know till almost the last minute if we're going to have any write-in candidates. But you will see on the Soil and Water Conservation Supervisor, there are boxes for write-ins on these races. We have had some files so far. We've had a candidate file for mayor, school board, 5th district, and for soil conservation. We've had 3 candidates file as write-in candidates. So, but I just wanted to make voters aware that can change because they have until, like I said, October 23rd to file for that. But, and then also, the only other thing I want to talk about on the ballot, there are 2 constitutional amendments on the back that are very lengthy. So if you have time, read through them. We can't advise you or explain or anything like when you come to vote. So kind of read through these, have your mind made up. Marcy's Law is the first amendment. It's designated to ensure greater rights and protection for victims of crimes. That's what the First Amendment is about. The Second Amendment is about lengthening the terms of district judges and Commonwealth attorneys, lengthening their terms to 8 years. And also it would require district judges to have at least 8 years of being a licensed attorney before they were able to run for district judge. So that's what those two amendments are about. And that was a very brief explanation of the ballot. But I do have the sample ballot and voting locations on the McCracken County website. If you want to go look at that, it's on McCrackenCountyKY.gov. And there's a red banner across there, and I think it said special, I said alert, and then special election information. But you can go on there, you can see the sample ballot, and you can also see the voting locations that I just read off to you. I also have an office Facebook page. I have to admit, it's hard for me to keep up with it these days, keep it up to date. I'm so busy down here, you know, working late. We work late, some of us every night till 8, 9 o'clock. I'm working on the weekends, and it's hard for me to keep that Facebook page as up to date as what I would like to, but I do have one, and it does have some useful information on there. You can always call the office if you have questions. That is 270-444-4702. That rings directly into the elections department. You don't have to go through the switchboard. Or you can always email me, and it's julie.griggs@ky.gov. But yeah, like I said, you can go on the website, McCrackenCountyKY.gov, and look over the ballot, the candidates, and the amendments. But I think that's covered pretty much what I wanted to. Are there questions or?
Says, my mom wants to come vote in person, but she can't stand for very long. Are you offering seats or anything like that?
Yes, we have had several voters with the same thing going on. So yes, we are. We have seats out in the hallway for them, and some voters have even been nice enough just to let them cut to the front of the line and let them go ahead and vote. We do have a voting station set up that we can scoot a chair up to that they can sit down and vote at. But yes, we will do anything we can to make them comfortable and make sure they get their vote cast. And also, if a voter needs assistance, you know, some people can't see well, some people, they've had strokes and, you know, they can't maybe write as well, but they can tell you how they want to vote. If they don't bring someone down here with them, yesterday I had 2 of my deputy clerks. You have to sign an oath of voter to be able to do it, but you've got a Democrat and Republican both there, that can help a person vote if they need it. So we do have that available as well. We certainly don't tell them how to vote. They tell us what they want to do, and we may help them mark the ballot and that sort of thing.
Julie, we had another question. Said she was already registered to vote, but just got married and therefore had to change my driver's license to my new name. I updated my voter registration, but it was after the registration date. Will I be able to vote?
Yes. Just tell her to, come down here with your driver's license, and we will correct the information once she gets down here. We just have to have that, that picture ID to know that it's her, and we can correct the information on our end as far as her name. If she's moved, we can correct her address, and then we would get her the specific ballot as to, if she did move, what her new address is. But yeah, tell her, definitely don't let that discourage you from coming down and voting, because we're going to do what we can to make sure you vote. So yeah, we can solve all of those issues once you get down here.
Any other questions before we wrap up?
I really thought there'd be a lot of questions since it's so different this time, but. And if you do have any, like I said, you can email me, you can call, like I said, you can go to the Facebook page. Sometimes I'm a little late getting those answered, but anyway, but certainly I do not mind you calling or emailing.
Julie, we appreciate you being our guest today at the virtual library programs. And we know things must be really crazy and it's a busy time for you. So we thank you for your time, and we thank you for your preparation and all the great updates you offered today. We thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I just would like to say in closing that, voting's never been made easier. So I just hope everybody will pick the option that they feel comfortable with and just get out and vote.
Thank you, Julie, and thanks everyone for attending. As mentioned, this program will be recorded and it will be on our YouTube from the library's YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.